The main story tonight is all about the Independent Supporters Committee. What's that, I hear you ask? Well, on Friday, an announcement was made that there was the Independent Supporters Committee was to take over from the now defunct Official Supporters Board, which was run by Karen Brady. Now, what are these? What's this all about? Well, basically, the Official Supporters Board used to be a combination of a number of fan groups who used to run by and who used to meet with the board, Karen Brady, and talk about things that affected the certain bodies. So there was Any Old Irons, BAME, Hammers, Bondholders, Disabled Supporters Board, Pride of Irons, the West Ham Supporters Club, and so that was the main body of the old Official Supporters Board. Now that was sort of disbanded, and there was a desire to bring forward a different approach. And the FSA, there was a desire to bring forward a different approach, and the Independent Supporters Committee was created. Now, there is still the different fan bases that I've just mentioned. I'll go through them again. Any Old Irons, BAME Hammers, Bondholders, Disabled Supporters Board, Pride of Irons, Supporters, and the West Ham Supporters Club. But in addition to those, there are two new fan groups that are joining the ISC, and that's Hammers United and Worcester. Now, the ISC put out their first statement on Friday evening, and it said the representative of West Ham United supporters groups and the club have established and agreed a memorandum of understanding together with the required protocols to facilitate the formation of the Independent Supporters Committee. It is hoped that the ISC will quickly evolve into a vigorous forum to bring meaningful change for the mutual benefit of all supporters and the club. The ISC will immediately begin to identify the priorities of West Ham United supporters, to investigate resolution actions and establish action plans to implement changes for improvement. We welcome the opportunity to collaborate with the club to identify opportunities for changes for the benefit of all West Ham supporters. Great. So basically, this new body is going to get together. It's going to look at the issues that all these different fan bases have got, and they're going to work side by side in order to address them and overcome them, and make it a better environment for all fans to enjoy West Ham United. Brilliant. I think that nothing wrong with that, and I think that's fantastic. Now, the interesting thing is that the statement says there's to be collaboration with the club, that the committee will identify priorities, which means priorities for all fans and fan bases, not just a section of them, but for all fan bases. So basically, when an issue comes up, everyone's got to be in agreement that that issue is an issue and needs to be resolved and addressed. But that means that compromises are going to have to be made, because let's say, for example, BAME Hammers won't agree with some issues that maybe Pride has, or Pride of Irons won't have necessarily agree with issues that, say, Hammers United have. Now, if Hammers United keep pushing for a board out stance, how would that sit with the other groups in this committee? So basically, we're going to have Hammers United sitting at the table with the club, talking about issues. And the club know that one of their main issues is that they want the board out. They want to, they want to improve things, obviously, but they at the same time they're talking to people that they're saying to, well, we want you to improve this issue and that issue because our members tell us that they need improving, but at the same time we want you to leave the club. We want you to sell up and go. So, but we'll talk to you, but hang on a minute, we want you to sell up. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, that it takes a couple of years or several years or whatever for all the issues to sort of be resolved. So BAME Hammers have an issue, Pride of Irons have issues, about whatever those issues may be, and this committee works on resolving them, etc. And we come down to more or less, the issues become less and less as time goes by. But the one issue Hammers United have is they still want the board out. Now, what is the board to do in order for Hammers United to change that stance? And here is the conundrum that I think Hammers United have, because they want to improve things, absolutely. But if they're going to keep saying, are they going to keep protesting and saying to West Ham United board, we want you out, we want you out, and the board keeps saying, well, we're not going to leave. So what will Hammers United do? Will they turn around and go to the other group members, right, the board won't accept that we want them to leave, so you join us and protest? I don't think the other groups will do that. And will Hammers United then take it out again to their members and go, we want to march and protest? Because their members have joined Hammers United on the premise that everybody wants the board out. Everyone at Hammers United have said quite clearly that their premise is they want the board to leave. They want the board to sell up and leave. But working alongside the board, as well as telling them that they want them to leave, surely, in my mind, is a contradiction. You can't work with the people that you want to leave. I don't understand. And what is going to happen if Hammers United present certain things that they want resolved and the rest of the members turn around and say they're not important enough? We've got other issues that we think are more pressing. What will Hammers United do then? Will they decide to leave the ISC? Will they stay within it? I think personally it's better that they're there, that they are sitting around the table, because they now have a direct access to the board. And all credit to them, to Hammers United. They've done really well to get to this stage. They've really sort of pushed the agenda forward. They're now at the table. They're now working from within. And I think that's a brilliant achievement. But at the same time, how can they maintain their mantra? I'm not saying that their mantra is wrong, that they want the board to leave, but how can they maintain that mantra whilst they're sitting at the table negotiating with the board to make things better? What if the board continue to deliver and the only thing left on the table is that Hammers United want the board out and the board say no? What will Hammers United do then? I'm intrigued because I've kind of I've gone on their Facebook group and I've seen the comments that have been made and the statement that's been made, etc. And I've seen some of the comments. Some Hammers United members aren't happy at the fact that they're at the table. Some Hammers United members are unhappy that we've yet to see the outcomes of the recent survey that they've done. Hammers United have said that they're going to present that first to the board before they present it to their members. I don't understand that either. Whose tune are they now singing to? It feels to me, and please, don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing anyone. It feels to me now that the board have got the upper hand. I think the board have pulled a blinder. They've invited them in. I think that's absolutely right. They got them round the table to negotiate on improving things. I think that's absolutely right. But at the same time, how can Hammers United protest to get the board out when they're sitting around the table negotiating on improving things? It's like me sitting to my boss telling them, I think you're rubbish, but hey, I'm still going to get paid by you, even though I think you're rubbish, and I want you to do everything for me, but I still don't like you. But by the way, I want you to keep paying me. It's almost akin to that. And I think that's where Hammers United, I'm looking at, the comments are notching up 10 to the dozen. I'm going to be interested to see what you guys say, because I think there's a bit of a dilemma going on here. Let me repeat. Brilliant that Hammers United have got on the table. I think that's absolutely right. It almost like you infiltrate from within. You're sitting around the table, you're negotiating with the board, you're looking at making things better for your members. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely agree. I think all these groups here, to be quite honest with you, are worthy of having that. Well, there may be one or two that I don't think, but I'm not going to say who. But on the whole, things like BAME, things like Pride of Irons, etc., things like Any Old Irons, I actually totally agree. I think they should be sitting around the table talking about how to improve things and so on. I think it's great that Hammers United are also there. I absolutely agree with that as well. But what next for Hammers United? Where do they go from here? If they're not happy with how the ISC works, how they're going to react to that? If they don't think that things are going the way that they want them to go, how are they going to respond to that? What is going to be their next move? Are they going to go back out and protest? I can't see it. You cannot sit at the table negotiating to improve things and at the same time go out and protest board out. Kind of doesn't work. So that's the dilemma, the conundrum that I think Hammers United have.